Hello and welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to showing you how to create this beautiful rich text editor. And as you can see, I typing, for example, hello world. I do a bold, for example. As you can see, it just works. I do italic, streak, and I can make this text to align center, right, left, and I can make this bullet list. As you can see, we have the bullet list right here. I can do order list, and also I can make this highlight. As you can see, we have the yellow color right there. So anyway, I'm going to use Next.js, and also for the rich text editor, I'm going to use basically this Tiptap, all right? And Tiptap is basically customable, so you can just choose any extension you want in here, right? I'm going to show you how to customize that. And also we are going to use Shadcn for the styling of the component, like a button and other things, right? So that's it for the intro. I hope you really excited for this video, and yep, let's get started. So first, let's generate Next.js application and set up that with a Shadcn, right? So I'm going to copy this command right here, and I'm going to paste into any folder you like, and I just hit enter. So I'm going to select Next.js, and for the project name, I want to say my rich text editor. For the base color, it doesn't really matter, it's just preference. I'm going to click on neutral. I'm going to use -- force. Great, it's done. So let's cd into the my rich text editor and open that inside Visual Studio Code. To make sure this works, first I'm going to just install the button component from the Shadcn. Let's do button. So now as you can see, we have component folder, UI folder, and button. So I'm going to say npm run dev and just open the page.tsx. And in here, I just remove everything and just return a div with a button like this. Okay, let's try to see what we have. Great, button hello is just render. So now inside the component folder, I'm going to create a file in here. Let's do a rich text editor folder. And inside that, I'm going to create index.tsx file. Okay, so here I'm going to say rfc, and then let's change the name to rich text editor. And then let's just import this component into the page.tsx right here. I just want to render that in here like this. Let's import it. Here we go. So now we have the rich text editor. So let's click this all docs and then select the editor tab. As you can see right here, there's an install tab. So we can click that install and you will see a lot of options right here. So because we're using Next.js, of course, I'm going to click this next, right? And then inside that we have all the steps. So first we need to create the Next.js application. We're already doing that. And then next thing is we need to install this 3 dependency, right? This is basically required. As you can see, we need to install this 3 dependency. Let's just copy that and then open the terminal. I just want to paste that right here and just hit enter. I hope you can see this one. Okay, great. So after the installation done, let's go back to documentation again. And as you can see in here, we can return editor content. I hope you can see that. I'm going to make it bigger, and let's try to just copy all of this, go back, and then go back to index.tsx. And in here, I just want to return this editor content from the tiptap/react, and also use editor from the tiptap/react. And also we need to import the starter kit. Great. So now let's go back. What we need to do next is just render the rich text editor, and we're just done. So let's try to go back to page. We're already doing that. Let's try to see on the browser what we have. Okay, we get an error because I think it should be run on the client component. Okay, let's go back in here. We need to change this index.ts into the client component. So let's do use client. Save. Let's try to see. As you can see, we have hello world right here. It's basically the content from the use editor right here. Okay, I'm going to remove the icon here. Let's see. Refresh. As you can see, we have hello world. And as you can see, this is basically a rich text editor. And if I, for example, select this one, I do Control B. As you can see, it's becoming bold. It just works. Why it works? Because we're using extension starter kit. If you go back to the documentation of the Tiptap and you go to the extension right here, right? I'm going to click the overview. So as you can see, this is basically a list of extensions that you can use on the Tiptap editor. As you can see on the notes right here, on the notes section, we have a block code, details, and headings, right? List item, paragraph, table, etc. And if I scroll down again, we have mark right here, like a bold, code, highlight, link, streak, and etc. And also we have functionality, right? Bubble menu, character count, and comment colors. And also we have that we already use on the example right here, right? Starter kit, I believe. There's a starter kit right here, right? Starter kit is basically collection of the most popular Tiptap extension. Okay, there's a block quote right here, bullet list, there's a heading, list item, and on the mark we have bold, code, italic, and etc. So this is basically what we're doing, right? Yep, we can just basically configure the individual extension inside the starter kit right here, like for example, history and heading and etc. All right, I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So let's first just styling this input text editor right here, right? Because now it's kind of like a small, I like to have kind of like minimal hake, right? How we can add styling on this editor here. So we can do that on the editor right here on the use editor object. So inside that, I can send editor props right here. And inside the editor props, I can send attributes. And also inside the attribute, I can send class. Okay, so this class will affect on the editor. So in here, for example, I'm going to say background red 500, for example, save, and as you can see, the background is becoming red color. So basically, I'm going to use this class right here that have minimal height 156 pixel, border, and also rounded medium, background slate, paragraph vertical to 2, and paragraph horizontal to not paragraph, padding 3, right? Padding X to 3. Let's save that, and as you can see, this is what we have. If I remove all the text, we still get this beautiful right here. And also I like to add a maximal width. So let's do that in here. I'm going to do class name maximal width into I think 3XL is fine. Let's save that. Let's take a look. This is what we have. Okay. So now how we can render the menu bar like the final project right here. On the top, we have heading 1, heading 2, and next, or how we render that menu bar. So as you can see on the documentation right here, there's an example, right? Let's click the example tab right here. And I believe there's a formatting on the left. So let's click on that. And as you can see right here, this is the example that have a heading 1, 2, 3, paragraph, bold, italic, and etc. So to do that, let me scroll down a little bit here, and we are going to create the menu bar component first, okay? So let's just go to the rich text editor, and I'm going to create a file called menu bar.tsx. Let's do rfc, and I'm going to change this to menu bar, and then just import that component into the index right here. Just make sure this is going to be rendered inside the div like this. Let's also render the menu bar. Great. Let's go back to documentation, and as you can see, it's sending editor property on this menu bar. We also need to do that. Let's send editor set equals to editor. So the editor is going to become from the use editor function on the top right here. Let's go back to menu bar, and we need to get the editor. Just like this. So let's scroll up, and then I just want to see the menu bar component on the top right here. As you can see, this just basically return a div with button right here. So anyway, I just want to copy all of this return just to, for example, okay? I'm gonna copy all of this and then go back to menu bar and just paste that right here. And then as you can see here, it's first basically check if the editor is undefined, it will return null. And if the editor have a value, it's just return this div right here that have this class name, and also all the button right here with heading 1, heading 2, and etc. Okay, so let's try to save that. Let's go back, and I just want to see that. As you can see, we have heading 1, heading 2, and etc. If I just select this one and click bold, for example, as you can see, it just works. Okay, it just works. Cool. If you click heading 1 now, it's not works because we need to add some styling. But for now, I think first we need to styling this menu bar first, okay? Because we're not going to use this styling right here. We are going to use styling from the Shadcn basically for the Tailwind CSS. If you take a look on the Shadcn, we have a component called a toggle. So this is basically what we are going to use. As you can see, there's a bold right here, like a great example. Also, we have an italic right here. It's also a great example. So we are going to use this component. So we can just copy that and then open a terminal. Let's paste that right here. npx Shadcn at latest add toggle. So let's use a force. So instead of just render like this, okay, I like to have like an option array. So I'm going to paste that right here on the top, like this. So as you can see, we have the option array that have icon and on click and also presses. So I'm going to first import the icon right here, heading 1, heading 2. All this icon is basically come from the Lucid React. It's available by default if you use a Lucid React. That's the end, I mean. So let's import bold, italic, and strict through, align left, and also align center. Also, we have line right, list order, highlighter. Okay, great. So if you take a look on the top right here, you have all of this icon. Great. So now let's scroll down and let's take a look what we return down here. And this is basically what we get from the documentation, right? So now let's just remove everything here. And then I just want to return, let's say return a div, okay? This div here have a class name, this one right here, that have a border, rounded medium, padding 1, margin bottom 1, background slate, space x2, and z is 50. And also inside that, I'm going to map through the option basically. So let's do option. Option is array on the top right here, right, that we already create. And so let's do option.map. So inside in here, I'm going to get the option for individual option, and then I'm gonna get the index as well in here. Let's try to return a toggle in here. So I'm gonna go with toggle, come from the UI/toggle like this, and inside that toggle I'm going to render the option.icon. Here we go. Let's save, and we get an error because we need to specify the key on the toggle, and I'm gonna send an index right here. So let's try to save, and let's take a look what we have. So as you can see, this is what we have. Looks super nice, right? So on the toggle component, there is a props called press. So press, I'm going to set that to true for now. I just want to see the background color. As you can see here, if the press is true, the background color is changed. Okay, I hope you can see that. So basically, the press here should become from the press in array like this. So I can say option.press like this. So now if I click, of course, nothing happened because now this function here is not run. So let's try to send the on press change, and I'm going to send the option.onClick. All right, so let's try. I'm going to click heading 1, for example. So now as you can see, the background of heading 1 is changed. That means this is a press. Okay, so let's try to see what really happened. So this function here, okay, when we click the heading 1, it will run the editor.chain.focus.toggle heading, and basically we make sure this is level 1 and we run that. If we're running this, the isActive heading level 1 will be coming true. So that's why we get the press true in this heading 1 right here. If you take a look on the documentation, so in the example, it's a little bit different. As you can see, if I take a look on the class name, it's first check if this is true, it will adding the isActive class. But because we're using toggle component, we don't have to do that because this is automatically, right? If this is true, the toggle component will change the background color. That's the beauty when we're using the Shadcn. So now as you can see, we get an error right here. So let's try to fix that. So basically the editor, it should be have type editor. It should come from the tiptap/react, and we are going to get this editor. Let's paste that right here, and it's going to be done. And also, yeah, we need to basically make sure this is or null, basically. If I scroll down, as you can see, there's a couple function that doesn't exist. For example, set text align and toggle light. Why this is not available? Because text align and also the height light is not available on starter kit. If you take a look on the index right here, we're using starter kit. If you go back to the extension right here, as you can see, there's no text align and also there's no height light in this starter kit. So that's why we get an error right here. Okay, so let's try to see what we have on the final project. We are going to back that later, right? We're going to fix this, but for now, let's go back in here. And I just want to try to, for example, change this to heading 1. And as you can see, it's not works, okay? Because we need to add a styling, because as you can see on the documentation, always check the documentation. The documentation have a style right here, okay? Style CSS, SCSS. So right here, it's adding heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 value. As you can see here, heading 1 font size, heading 2 font size, and etc. It's changed the heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 font size basically. That's what we are going to do on the global CSS. And inside this layer base, I'm going to send this heading 1 apply text to XL and font bold. For heading 2 text XL, heading 3 text large. Let's go back and I hope now it works. As you can see, this is heading 1, this is heading 2, this is heading 3. Nice. So now I'm going to make it bold and yep, it works. Okay. The italic is work, strike is work, and now this is not works because we're using a starter kit that doesn't have text align. Let's try to add text align. Let's go back to the documentation and then I'm gonna go back to overview. So in here, let's try to search text align. Align or text align. Yep, text align. Click that. And then now we can just follow the instruction. So let's copy the package first, go back here, and then we need to install that. Okay, let's go back again, and then we need to just copy this right here into your, let me go to index right here, extension. So let's paste that right here. As you can see, we get an error because we don't yet import the text align. So now it's import, and then I hope now it works. Let's go back in here and let's try to make it on the center. It's still not working. I believe we need to reload, I think. Let's try to make it center and it just works. Really nice. So now let's try this bullet point. As you can see, it's not works. But if you take a look on the extension right here, on the starter kit extension, there is a bullet list right here. There is an order list. But why this is not works? Why this is not works? So basically, let's try to go back and then I just want to click the maybe bullet list. So as you can see, this is how you can do if you want to install that manually, all right, without using a starter kit. But we're already doing that with starter kit anyway. So I think first we need to adding class on the bullet list. So I'm gonna copy this one right here and then go to the starter kit. Because we're using starter kit, we can do starter kit.configure like so. Okay, and then we need to run, let's say bullet list right here. Let's do bullet list. And then inside that, we need to run the HTML attribute like so. And also inside that right here, we need to send class. So basically, I'm going to add list this and also margin left. I'm going to do maybe 3 in this case, like that. And now let's try. I'm going to add bullet list. I think we need to refresh. Okay, bullet list, and it just works. And let's see how we can use that. So let's take a look. We can do really same, I think, right? We can do order list dot HTML. This is basically, if you're not using starter kit, you can just copy that and paste that same level with the text line right here. But because we're using starter kit, of course, we can do that inside the starter kit configure. So I think I just want to copy this one, paste that. This is going to be a order list like this, but instead of list this, right, we are going to use list decimal. This is class from the Tailwind basically. Let's try to see what we have. Of course, we need to first refresh, and then if I do this one, and this is works. If I do enter, as you can see, this is just works. So the last thing is the highlight right here, right? It's not works for now because it's not available from the starter kit extension. So let's try to search that extension. So as you can see right here on the example, it's not just yellow color. So we can do basically any color. As you can see here, we can use purple, blue, red, anyway, any color. So let's just try to copy the extension first, go back here and then hit enter. So let's take a look how we can use that. I'm going to scroll down, and as you can see, this is how we can use that. And of course, you can always use multicolor to true, right? If you want. Let's go back here. I'm gonna paste that. And then just make sure we import the highlight from the extension. And this is basically the custom class. So this is just for example, I'm going to add hover background red 500. That means if the highlight is applied and I hover that, the background color is changed. This is just for example. So let's refresh that. I'm going to highlight this one. As you can see, it's becoming yellow. If I hover, it's red right now. And if you take a look on the documentation right here, we can add a multicolor. As you can see, if you want to add multicolor, you need to add multicolor to true. And then after that, you need to just follow this documentation. As you can see on the orange, for example, right here, you can do editor, chain, focus, toggle light, and you can send color to whatever the color you want. And then of course, right here, you need to also set the class name into color, whatever the color you want right here. Okay, and the name of the color, orange, green, or whatever you want. For now, just leave it yellow. I think it's fine. This is just for example, and I think I just want to comment that. Here we go. Let's just delete this highlight. Oh, we need to use highlight anyway. So because we don't need to configure anything, we need to just import the highlight like this. And this is just works basically. Let's go back. Let's try to refresh and then highlight that. It works. Okay. I'm going to highlight just the hello. It just works. So now I think you will wondering how we get the value from the input field right here. So there's a props, there's a key on the use editor right here that we can paste. So there's called on update. Okay. On update, I'm going to set that to a function right here, right? This function is like an editor. So I just want to console log the editor in here. So I'm going to say editor.getHTML and run that function. So now let's take a look on the console. So as you can see, if I typing, for example, hello, we get an hello on the paragraph tag right here. I think I'm going to refresh to get clean everything. And as you can see, why we get hello from the first time, because the content is have a hello word by default. So I just want to remove that. And then now let's try to refresh that again. And now as you can see, there's a clean. Let's try to typing hello. As you can see, hello will be coming on the p tag. If I change that to heading 1, it's becoming heading 1 right now. Okay. If I change that to heading 2, heading 3, bold, italic, and align center, as you can see, all of this will be rendered. That's pretty cool. Okay. So for example, I'm going to store the value into the state. So let's do state right here. I'm going to give a name post like so. And then let's import the use state, because we're using use state right here. Of course, I'm going to change this component into use client. Just like that. By default, I'm going to say empty string. And then now what I'm going to do is let's send the post. Post set equals to, or maybe content content set equals to post like this. So now we can get the post into the index right here. Okay. So basically we can create interface called rich text editor props, and we can send the content. The content should be a string, and we can grab that content right here, content. So now we can send the content here into the content right here, like that. And also we need to send the on change event. Basically, let's go back to page right here. So let's try to create the on change function. Set equals to an arrow function, and inside that I just change the set post into e.target.value. Or first I think I just want to console log the e. I just want to make sure what we get on the event. And also let's send the on change on this rich text editor, just like so. Go to rich text editor, and then just make sure the interface, it should be have on change. And this is going to be, I think I'm going to change the event to content, have a string, and then down here we need to running that. So we can say on change and then send the editor.getHTML. And we get an error here because, let me hover it. Yep, I think I just typo right here. It's going to be on change, and this is also going to be on change. Great. So now we can get the data, and of course, because in here we send the HTML data right here on the page, we don't get the e, but we get the content. So let's also console log the content, and then I think I'm going to set the post into content. Just like so. Let's go back in here. Let's try to change. And as you can see, this is basically come from the page, right? Page 10 right here. Let me scroll down a little bit, and I just want to comment this console log. So I just want to make sure the console is going to become from the page.tsx. And as you can see, this is just works. So basically in here, you can use form component from the Shadcn, I think. Let's say form, this one right here. Okay, you can use this because this is a have kind of like a validation and etc. So you can use this form. Okay, but for this example, we are going to use just really simple post state right here that doesn't have any validation. And of course, this content, it should be a string, just like this. Okay, so I think that's it, guys, for the rich text editor. Maybe in the next step, I'm going to create another, maybe kind of like a blog full stack application using this rich text editor, because this is really cool. Yep, I think it's done, and hopefully you will learn something new from this beautiful video. And just make sure you just hit the subscribe button and just like this video, because that's mean a lot to me. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and see you on the next one.